Date of recording is, well, it's nearly the 4th of December 2015. It's literally nearly midnight. Anyway, that highly unimportant information there, but whatever. I'm hardly the most professional recorder in the history of YouTube's. But howdy, people. It's been a while, but oh boy, this has been one hell of a college quarter season for me. One of my rougher quarters, just with the material I'm in right now. So I haven't been able to keep like a regular uploading schedule. And you know me, even if I had the free time, I'd have a bad schedule. I'm not the most up to date kind of. Well, no, not up to date, but more. I'm not the most like scheduled person. I kind of do things on a whim, especially when it comes to these recordings. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not the most professional person, so it's not like I'm putting a whole lot of effort into this stuff. But I do like making videos and uploading them. I'm not saying I don't, but yeah, same old, same old. Um, well, it's nearly here, episode 7. Don't worry, I'm not going into a rant again. I'm just gonna put that out there now. Um, but it's just I've been kind of thinking, and I've been, I don't know, pondering, getting a little thoughtful, I guess, on the whole deal right now, and it's just depressing. Just to me, it's not even like, yeah, I can get angry, I can get really worked up if you give me a minute, but for the most part, I just feel depressed, especially since you're always more angry more when the material you're angry at is on its way. Once it's here, it can still really piss you off, but I mean, generally, it's kind of when you go and watch it. At least that's the way I work. When it's finally here, and now it's like literally just a couple days away. Like if I just bypass the midnight time here, and it's like the 4th, it's literally like what, 12 or less days away, something like that. The 16th, I think, in America. If I somehow have people in other countries watching this or listening to this, hi, by the way. Hell, I don't know. Maybe it comes out sooner. I'm not keeping up when it comes out. Whatever. Ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. When it actually comes here, it doesn't really make me mad anymore. It just makes me depressed because now we're gonna come to that point that I really didn't want to be, and I'm getting tired. I'm just getting tired of really trying to fight what is unquestionably a losing battle here. So, and I'm not changing my position on anything. Don't get me wrong. It's just kind of lamenting, I guess, the fact that this is the reality of the Star Wars license, universe, fandom. It's the way it's gonna be. It's the way it is. It's the way it's always gonna be now. Um, like I said, this isn't gonna be a ranting video, but it is gonna be or a recording. It's just mostly me kind of expressing just how I feel right now, really, as it's coming. I mean, as it's literally on our doorstep here, as the trailers really just keep coming on every other freaking commercial on the TV. Or you get Star Wars everything online right now, especially since it's Christmas, so they want to sell everything with R2D2 on it, despite the fact we have not seen that droid in any commercial. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he'll actually be in the movie. Who knows? Hey, we haven't seen Luke either, but whatever. I'm sure other people will tell me what happens in the movie. Just because I'm not going to go watch the film doesn't mean I don't want to hear people tell me what they saw, what they thought, what they felt. So I mean, I probably will talk to somebody, maybe Bane. I think Bane will see it. If not, maybe I can get in contact with Visitor or somebody and just kind of go over really what went on in the film. I'm definitely going to watch Tim talk about it, because if there's anyone whose opinion I kind of respect, well, no, I actually respect his opinion on Star Wars, it's going to be Tim, because he does have a decent point of view of things. I know he has a good point of view of things in Star Wars, even though I'm pretty sure he's not a big fan of the prequels like I am. But I mean, that's normal for me. I don't care. But when it comes to extended universe stuff, he has a good grasp on Legends, and he does not seem particularly interested in all the new canon stuff coming out outside of the movies. So I kind of want to gauge what his opinion is. I'm not gonna watch a lot of the online movie reviewers because, god damn, has anyone else besides me kind of felt like Star Wars fans took over the fucking universe, like in between 1999 and 2010? Because it used to be really lame to be a Star Wars fan, and in some ways it still is. You still see people on TV, on the internet, make fun of people who like Star Wars, but it's kind of heavy-handed now. It's kind of like, really, a Star Wars joke? Is that the best you got? I mean, okay, fine. You think you're so much better than everybody by making a Star Wars joke, high 90s, late 80s. It doesn't work that much anymore is what I'm saying. But what I mean by that is like, I almost sound like a hipster because it's almost like now you're uncool if you don't stick to the status quo that Star Wars is only good according to the original trilogy and this new shit coming out. Everything else is just bad. And I don't subscribe to that. You all know I don't subscribe to that. If you know me at all. If you're just finding this video, trust me, it gets worse as you listen to some of my older videos. This is me being very tame right now. They don't want to hear me complain anymore about the film. I'm not complaining about it and going into a rant. I'm just kind of discussing what I notice and what I feel right now. Because this is literally my only outlet at the moment. I don't have anyone else to talk to about this. Like, I haven't talked to Bane in a couple days. I haven't talked to any of the other guys who really are big Star Wars fans. So I might as well express how I feel on YouTube because that's what it's used for, right? At least I'm not talking politics. Might as well be. People get so hyped up about it. But what I was saying earlier is like, the status quo on YouTube is just so nauseating after a while. You go and you try and watch some people review any of the old, original trilogy films, and they all get 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 stars or, thumbs up or nothing. No one ever says anything bad about them. And if you do find people who say that, they usually get flamed or they have to be very, 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 what's the word? Apologetic about how they feel. Even I end up doing that after a while. I start sounding like an apologetic twit when I'm talking about the original trilogy and how honestly I'm a little bored by episode 4. How honestly episode 6 kind of bores me as well. Episode 5 is good, but you know what? If I had to choose between episode 5 and 3, I might choose 3. But those are my honest feelings, and I do still like the original trilogy. They're just not my favorite films. So, to express more calmly how I just feel about these new films, really, it's just that they're gonna come out and it's a continuation of those films, and that was the one route they wanted to go on. They didn't want to make up a new story or anything. Fine, whatever. Do as you will, Disney. You have the full rights to do so. And I think what I've been trying to articulate for a long time, which I've only recently been able to do, is that I'm mad that these films have an A+ thumbs up 5 out of 5 rating and no one's even seen the movie yet. And even if it comes out and it's awful, I know it's going to be rated as one of the best movies of all time just because JJ Abrams made it, just because it has the word Star Wars strapped on it, and just because it has Harrison Ford and oh god, I'm blanking on Leia's actress's name. Oh god. That's not good. It's gonna come to me in a minute. You know what I mean. It has the people from the original trilogy in it. And it's automatically gonna pass, and I'm not gonna watch it because I don't have the time, I don't have the money, and I don't have the investment anymore. And I think that's what's really getting me depressed is that the new canon and this film have just sucked the energy and zeal I used to have for Star Wars out of me. And I'm not trying to elicit sympathy. I'm just saying how it feels. And I think, like, honestly, I went through the steps. You know, like, I'm at acceptance, really. When you get to the steps, I was really angry, sad, whatever, all those steps. And now I've just gotten to acceptance, and it's not even like, oh, I'm okay with this acceptance. Although it may be a little bit, but it's kind of just depressed. It is what it is, I can't change anything. I'm but one person. Anyone who agrees with me, I appreciate that they agree with me, but everyone I talk to, even if they say they don't necessarily want to see the new canon and shit, I know all of you guys, or at least 99.9% of you guys listening to me right now, whenever you're listening to this, are going to, or if this is in the future, have seen the new film. So, you already have your opinions on it. I am what I am, and I'm not going to change the way I am. I don't know, it's just, when it was announced that George Lucas had sold the rights and, LucasArts, whatever, he sold everything to Disney, he got $2 billion, he gave it away to charity, that's great. I don't think George is a terrible person. I don't think he ruined the universe by making 3 movies that were, at best, mediocre. When I heard that, I was just kind of flabbergasted. First of all, I didn't know he was trying to sell it. And I thought Disney was so strange of a choice. The other choices were out there. It was like WB, Warner Brothers, probably Universal. I don't know. I don't know who the bidders were. Disney paid out and they won. Whatever. Fine. Yeah, when that came out, it was kind of like a what the fuck, but I was willing to accept it. Fine. Disney has it, but then the news it was immediate. We're making new films, and it was just like that kind of hit me too, where I was like, you Disney just right out the gate want to just really start milking this cash cow, which makes sense. They bought the rights not to just have them sit there and do nothing, but okay, fine. But then they go and eliminate the entire old canon because let me tell you why they eliminated the old canon. This is the legitimate reason for why the old canon's gone. And I'll get back to my original statement. And this is just depressing to me, really. And it should make more people angry. It really should, but it's not because, no one cares. The fact of the matter is that LucasArts and all of the Lucas brands that were under LucasArts had a contract formed in the early 90s, maybe even late 80s, after Return of the Jedi came out and when Extended Universe stuff was really starting to come out in bulk. There's a couple of cases where this isn't true because they came out around the time, like the early 2000s when stuff was really kind of getting sketchy. Going back to the old days of canon, but here's what happened. LucasArts had an obligated contract that for every game maker, every writer, creator for video games, comic books, although there's problems with video games because video games were not really taken into account back when this contract was formed. Video games, comics, books, any sort of extra material that was not even the films, although the films had their own version of this. Content creators were promised royalties every time their character was used in any other tongue-tied, any other material besides the stuff they worked on. So, for instance, Exar Kun was created in the one of the Jedi Academy, I think, books. And then he ended up in the comics. Every time his character is used, I don't know about referenced, but every time his character is used after that, which isn't a lot, maybe the Old Republic comic books, he gets a royalty check because he came up with that character and it's his. but it's owned by LucasArts, but he was the content creator, so he got a royalty check. Same thing for Revan. The creators of the Revan character got royalties or get royalties every time he's used in any material besides the old. Well, outside of the Old Republic, they still get royalties from him being in the Old Republic. But anything, or yeah, Knights of the Old Republic. But any other material he goes into, they get a check from that material as well. So it's the same for all of these old characters, for Darth Bane, for Darth Revan, for Malak, for Exar Kun, for Mara Jade, Thrawn. All of them have royalty contracts. So what Disney did when they said, "Oh, we want our authors to have creative freedom," and all that other garbage that you already know about, I hate that they did that, because it's such a lie. Disney doesn't even have the balls to tell you the real reason. Yeah. The real reason why they gutted the extended universe was because they didn't want to pay these people royalty checks to use their characters anymore. They didn't want to pay the people who made Revan necessarily. I mean, he still has his own stuff. They didn't want to pay necessarily Timothy Zahn any more royalty checks for using Thrawn in the future. So they can create their own Thrawn-esque character, and then, maybe someone in Disney Corps makes the character, the money that goes to him ends up back in the company, or whatever. All these characters made in these new films end up as royalty statements to Disney itself. Same thing that happened to Lucas whenever he made characters within films. They were royalty statements to him. And they went right back into the film, and so on and so forth. The cycle continued. So the reason why Disney says, no, we don't give a shit about any of the old characters or what have you that aren't really pertinent to the movies, is because we don't want to pay the people who came up with these characters royalty checks. I mean, that's the truth. Look it up. And another thing, Star Wars films make on average, what was the number? It was like $2 billion. Okay, big number. That includes the tickets for people who go see the movies, and also include, this is, 2005 was when the last film came out, so the numbers might be a little odd. But $2 billion altogether for people who went to go see the film, including DVD and I guess VHS if you still had one back then sales. Today it's probably going to be a bigger number, but that's because of inflation. Star Wars' cash cow is in toys. Disney and LucasArts, before Disney bought LucasArts, makes $18 billion on toys alone. So, some people, crazy people mind you, claim that Star Wars is this piece of shit fucking thing that these old men who need to get lives and girlfriends go and watch or whatever need to get over it, because Star Wars is really just a way for companies to make $18 billion by selling toys to their dumbass children. On a marketing level, yeah, that's true, but on a level of, hey, all people who watch Star Wars are just lonely old men, I'm not sure that's exactly true. But the reality is, people have to accept the reality that Star Wars really is just a toy marketing machine. The toys being sold right now around Christmas must be insanely giving Disney so much money right now. They probably have exceeded the $18 billion mark already. You know what? I would bet on it, but maybe not. But I can assure you, by the end, when Christmas is over, $18 billion at least of Star Wars toy material will have been sold and put back into the Disney coffers. Because the film came out, which maybe gives Disney another, $2, maybe $3 billion at the end of the day. They don't care about the film. They care about the material being sold because of the film to children. And is that big of a deal? To me, no. To other people, it might be. I don't know. But I hate the sleaziness that Disney went through to try and hide that fact that they didn't want to pay authors and writers and game creators and all these people who put a lot of work into creating characters. Maybe some didn't, but there were those out there who put a lot of work. Timothy Zahn with making Mara Jade and Thrawn interesting characters. He put work into those characters, work into his writing. He deserves a royalty check every time LucasArts and now subsequently Disney makes money off of him. And yes, these people will still get royalty checks if Disney decides to continue selling some material under the Legends banner. However, they do not wish to market all the old stuff like at once anymore, especially since they're going to have issues with other companies that used to have the rights to, like the Dark Horse comics. They're going to have issues with them over who actually has like eminent domain over characters. Such weird, legal jargon bullshit. But they're not going to market all the old books at once. They'll maybe sell you a couple of old books at once, maybe as an omnibus even. And then they have to pay royalties to those people, but they're still making enough money back off of the omnibus being sold to us, the fans, to make it worth it. Then they take that off the shelf. Then they put old material back on the shelf, but it's different old material, so they don't have to pay royalty checks to one set of people who made characters and content for this section of the Star Wars Legends universe. And considering Marvel owns some of the old stuff and it's not going to be that big of a dent, they don't have to pay them much money because the royalties go right back into Disney because Marvel is under the control of Disney. I don't like that we were sleazed that way. Okay, so going back to my original statement really is just the more and more I got to hear about what this new universe, quote unquote new universe, was doing, and how Jesus, some of the character choices and plot lines and I've read some leaked shit on the internet, and honestly, by the way the trailers are, I'm thinking I read the legit script leaked, and it's really depressing to me personally. But I'm not gonna tell you anything. Don't worry. But to me, it's depressing. So you're not gonna gauge much from that because I'm depressed by a lot of shit in the new Star Wars stuff. So don't worry, you're not gonna get spoiled or anything. But it's honestly, this film just feels like a fanboy gone nuts for the original trilogy. Like a bad fan fiction to me. That was a dog outside. Okay, there's a Sith-like character who's not a Sith. He's some wacko named Kylo Ren, but he's an uber Darth Vader fanboy who wants to finish Darth Vader's work because he loves him, even though he's dead. You're gonna tell me that doesn't sound like an OT fanboy who got fucking shot into the Star Wars universe and had fucking force powers? You're gonna tell me that doesn't sound exactly like something a fanboy would do? You're nuts, man. It's just weird stuff like that. I hate JJ. I hate his directing. I don't like his storytelling. That's just me. I'm not going to talk anymore about that, but you already know how it is. So the film automatically was just like, when they told me he was directing the film, I was like, oh, now I really don't want to see this film. Because I can't even stand the Star Trek movies he did, man. I can't stand Cloverfield. That was an awful experience watching that movie. The first time I watched it, I thought it was a good movie. Second time I watched it, I couldn't believe how I thought that movie was ever good. And then Lost just disturbs my mind. And Alias. Fuck off with Alias. Oh my god, if you don't know what Alias is, look it up and read the plot summary. Because at first it goes from fucking spies and, like some crazy, like uber James Bond shit, to immortal people and all this weird shit. And it's can't hold a plot together to save his life. What else? Let's round it back. I can't find myself honestly ranting about how awful I think this film is going to be anymore. You know, you could say, well, you're ranting right now, but I'm really not. This is not me ranting. This is me just kind of expressing how I feel on something at the moment, really. Um, you know, I live now within a bubble with very few other people who are essentially abstaining from ever being invigorated by anything new with Star Wars ever again. And I know it's a personal choice. You don't have to yell at me. I know it's my own choice to do so. But I can't. I honestly just can't find it in me to be excited anymore about anything to do with Star Wars. It just bothers the shit out of me. Like, even when Legend stuff comes out with the Old Republic, it just feels so unrestrained by itself now that it feels awkward. And what I mean by that is now they know they don't have to necessarily fall in line with all the old universe stuff because, hey, fuck it, Disney didn't make it canon. Why the hell do we have to care so much about all the canon stuff that was here before? Like with this, what was it? Not Infinite Empire, Eternal Empire or whatever. The Zakul people in this expansion pack, or expansion, yeah, the expansion DLC for the Old Republic. My God, they feel like they're overpowered. They like obliterate the Republic and the Empire's ability to fight anymore, and they put planet-killing fucking super weapon satellites over all the planets. I'm sorry if I just spoiled something for you, okay? I didn't mean to. I'll put a warning, hopefully, on the video if I remember to do so and tell you to... You, come on. If you didn't know that, it was not that big of a fucking plot twist or something that was unknown. I mean, come on, give me a break. But, you know, I don't think anyone who made any material in the time periods after the Great Galactic War and Great Galactic War 2 or whatever could have predicted some wacky bullshit like this was going to happen, where this empire that this dickhead Sith Emperor founded, because, hey, his own empire was treating him very unkindly as of late, was, you know, so he invaded again. He had some asshole children. His son, quote unquote, killed him. Yeah, I'm sure. And now they basically have puppetized the entire fucking galaxy without directly taking over taking over the whole fucking thing. It's BioWare's cheap way of trying to make it so that, oh no, the Empire and Republic didn't really fall. They just kind of, I don't know. They're in a loo right now. They're in a weird, not beaten, not victorious, not anything kind of phase where the constant threat of someone bombing your planet into obliteration above is above them, which I feel like BioWare have already used that before in the same game anyways, but whatever. And that's what I mean. It's just, I heard about Knights of the Fallen Empire, that's what it's called, and I couldn't get excited about it, even though by comparison to what I think Disney is doing, I thought it was going in a better direction, in the better direction. But I went on in my life, and after a while, I was just like, no, I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't know what happened where I just started being incapable of accepting anything new being added to the Star Wars universe. When Lucas owned it, and no films for sure were being made because he was sick and tired of people giving him shit over films and he didn't want to make anymore, I felt content in knowing, okay, the films are over. We're just going to get games, comics, TV shows, books. That's going to be the universe. Just keep pumping out new material. But that's not to say I didn't recognize that stuff coming out was getting stale. You know, Legacy was very stale, very dry, and a lot of people did not like it. I understand. I get why Darth Krayt and Cade Skywalker were not that fucking interesting. I get it. I get how as they went even further and further back, stuff started to get a little kind of trite and like really try hard when they went like Dawn of the Jedi. Um, the Rakatans. Um, the Rakatans, the Jedi Order, where you had this weird blending of light and dark side Jedi, quote unquote. Um, I got how that was also very dry too. It felt like it was just trying. Both of those materials were trying, and eras were feeding off of that original kind of movie area where and adjoining areas on either side, both a little bit in the future and a little bit in the past, so to speak. I mean, 3,000 years is not that near to the movies, but 25,000, maybe 27,000 years back from the movies is not close either. So, I got that it was dry. It was getting harder and harder for Star Wars fans to feel really excited about some of this stuff. But to me, I was willing to just wait it out, and I always knew that good stuff would eventually pop back into the mix and be there, so whatever, I was willing to go for it. Then Disney took over, and I don't know, it just something got tired in me. I don't know what it was. Like I said, I think it stems from the fact Disney is changing all this shit and doing this to a universe that I used to love very much, and now I just feel kind of ambivalent towards. And I hate that I feel that way now, and that makes me angry. It makes me angry that you asked me a year or 2 years or 3 years ago about Star Wars, man. I could talk your ear off, and I was always online reading about stuff I didn't know and wanting to find books and materials I hadn't read and characters I didn't know about who were turned out to be interesting and I never knew about them. And man, I could go on and on and on. You ask me about Star Wars now, I don't want to talk about it. It's just, I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, I can't find it within me to give a shit anymore. I don't know. I honestly don't know where that comes from. I don't know how Disney making this new shitty film, how I feel about it. I'm sorry if you don't. I know I haven't seen it yet. You haven't either. Give me a break. You haven't either, and you love the film, so give me a break. I feel just worn out with trying to defend my own position. I feel worn out with giving a fuck anymore. It's just hard. I feel like I felt when I was younger and when the prequels were coming out, and I knew every time I talked about Star Wars and wanted to bring up something about the prequels, I was going to get lambasted, and my friends and family were going to, not necessarily my family, but my friends and acquaintances were going to treat me very, very badly for a couple minutes as I talked about how I liked the prequels. And I didn't want to talk about Star Wars because it wasn't cool what I liked. And that's how I feel now with the Legends universe. I'm essentially in the minority in that, yeah, I'm sure there are Star Wars fans out there who are like, oh no, I still love the Legends universe. I'm just going to not give a shit about it from now on and go with this new fucking dumbass kid again who honestly just hates having to think about Star Wars, because I know I am in the minority and people don't give a shit about my opinion and I can't change nothing. I am just going to be some asshole who talks about it. Someone's going to listen to me talk about it. They're going to either agree or disagree, but generally they're not going to give a shit about my opinion. And that's how most opinions work. I get that, but I can't find it within me to give a fuck anymore. I can't find it within me to give a shit about the planets, the races, the wars, the conflicts, the intricate relationships of characters and light and dark and all that. I can't find it anymore. I see these bumbling, laughing fucking idiots who are in the new film, And it just makes me mad that they're so pleased with themselves because they don't give a shit. I mean, have you actually looked at the way the actors of these films have talked about, and not the seasoned actors, but even Harrison Ford, to a degree, Harrison Ford honestly does not give a shit much about the Han Solo character. Every time people try to talk to Harrison Ford about the Han Solo character and ask him what it was like being an iconic quote-unquote character who will live forever, he acts like he doesn't give a shit because it was just a paycheck to him. He's not a Han Solo fanboy. And you know what? Good for him. He doesn't have to buckle and act like, oh God, I was George Lucas's gift to everybody. I respect him for that. I respect that he does not find that much to give a shit about with Han Solo. But if you look at the new people for this film, the new main fucking woman character, whoever she is, I don't even know who she is. I don't even know if she's even related to any of the old. This is how little I've actually looked up their characters. I don't even know if she has any relation whatsoever to Han or Leia or Luke at this point anymore. I don't know the Black Stormtrooper, whatever the fuck his name is. Their actors, every time, when you look at what they've said about their characters in the film, someone recently, some news agency, some whatever, asked them, do you feel any pressure about Star Wars? And they both said no. Because, honestly, they felt like, one of them said, I think it was the woman, and God, I can't stand her face. One of them, it was her, like I just said, I can't stand her, said that, I don't feel like any pressure or anything. I just want people to think I did a good job with the acting. It's just like, how the fuck am I supposed to root for these actors who honestly have shown that they do not give 1 ounce of a shit about the material they're working with, except for the fact that it's just a paycheck? Harrison Ford has the charisma to pull that off. He's a generally kind of funny, nice guy to be around and talk to from what people see on TV, whatever he is behind closed doors. But these people just seem like they're total fucking asshats who, hey, can write on their fucking resume, was in a Star Wars film and made money off of it, ha ha ha. Yeah, and that's how they've acted every time someone has tried to nitpick or critique anything they've seen from them in these trailers or whatever for this film or whoever, and they act like, whatever, I don't care what you think because, hey, I'm in the Star Wars film, isn't that great? And they're banking on the fact that everyone already, without seeing the film, loves them already. They haven't even shown if they have any fucking chops. I don't even know who the fuck these actors are. I think they're both British. I'm not sure. The black dude and the chick, whoever. I don't care about them or their story. So, I mean, I've looked up a single thing about their characters. Everything I know about them is from the stupid, quick glances I've accidentally had of the film trailers. And all I know from this woman is that she looks like a fucking weirdo when she's crying, and the Black Stormtrooper looks like he has only one emotion, and that's stone-faced, kind of weird, kind of like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Oh, someone's bothering me. Run like an idiot. I don't get anything from these characters. I don't get anything from the trailer. And the trailer is meant to make me want to go see the film. I don't want to see it. It's not the fault of the trailer necessarily. I've already had this disheartened whatever about me, this lamentation. That was loud. Sorry, I saw my computer. So, I know some people are going to listen to this, and they're going to think that I'm ranting again, and they don't want to hear it. Well, you know what? Fine. If you don't want to hear me talk about the new film and how I feel about the new film, that is within your right to close the video and maybe leave me a comment saying you didn't want to hear it again. Well, you know what? Fine. Leave a comment saying you didn't want to hear it and close the video. But this is how I feel, and this is my channel. I'm going to express my opinions on my channel, if you don't mind. I will make some more videos coming out soon, and I'm sure you'll like those much better than you'll like this one. However, this is how I feel. The film is coming out in less than 15 days. If I don't have the right to talk about it because I'm a fan who is just really just losing his grasp on what it even means to be a fan anymore, then I don't know what the fucking point of me having this channel is anymore, me even uploading anything is. So give me that break, will ya? Before you lambaste me for expressing my opinions on things that I have expressed before. Again, maybe with a little more articulation than usual, without all the screaming and ranting and raving. I'm not pissed off with anyone or anything. Anyone who's made some sort of critique against me saying these opinions before. I'm not pissed with anybody. I'm not saying you can't not like the video right now. I'm just saying let me express myself here and now because this is what I want to do. And I guess the moral of the story, really, of this video is that I am really getting to the point of acceptance of Star Wars is getting to the point where it's not for me anymore, and I don't like that. I don't like that something that I've basically loved my entire life, going back to, say, 5, 6 years old. And without giving you my actual age, that's more than a decade. It's more than a decade and a half, I can tell you that. Actually, I take that back. I was a little off there. It's more than a decade. More than a decade I've had this in my life. Maybe, yeah, whatever. And I'm getting to this point of accepting that it's changed so much to appeal to people who don't care about my opinion, don't care about my thoughts, have never cared about my thoughts, never cared about my opinions, never cared about anything I've ever thought about the same universe we all loved. And it's nothing but appealing to them. Only them, forever them. Get the fuck out of here if you don't like it. And fine. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, fine. You want Star Wars? You want it this way? Fine, take it. I'm done with it. I'm getting to the point where I'm just so goddamn done with fighting people in my own fucking supposed fandom who have whined and bitched and moaned for 2 decades, maybe even 3, that they didn't get the Star Wars that they wanted. And therefore, everyone else has to suffer. All the old shit has to die. Everything has to change to wrap around their own idea of what is supposed to happen. Well, you know what? I'm tired of that being the status quo. Because despite what they may think, Star Wars has always revolved around them and their personal fucking opinions. And I'm tired of giving a shit to have the ability to fight about it. I don't have the ability to fight about it anymore. All I can do is reminisce about shit I do like. Shit I did like. I loved Exar Kun. I still love Exar Kun, but I'm not that excited about him anymore because nothing's ever going to be done with him. I love Mark Aragnos. I love Naga Sadao. Nothing's ever going to be done about him. They're never going to be referenced again. And if they are, they're going to be completely different characters. So why the fuck should I give a shit? Revan is either going to be changed to some warped, weird thing in the new canon or whatever, but whatever. He's going to be changed to fit this status quo of the original trilogy fans who now run Star Wars via Disney. Why the fuck do I care? Fine, take it. Do what you want. I don't give a shit anymore. Do what you want. You know. Do what you want with Darth Vader. Do what you want with Anakin Skywalker. Do what you want with his children, his grandchildren, if he has any. I don't even think he does. Do what you want with Chewbacca, Han Solo, who I personally don't find that interesting of a character, whatever. Do what you want with all that has ever happened in Star Wars. I don't care anymore. I really don't. And I'm not trying to say that to sound like some prissy little, whining fanboy who's like, oh, I don't care what you do anymore. You don't understand me, Mom. I'm saying that from an honest place of I just don't care anymore. When you're in a fight with somebody and you've been arguing about the same subject maybe for hours or maybe days on end and you don't talk to each other and then finally one of you just decides to go to the other one, you know what? You win. I don't care anymore. Just whatever your point of view was, it's the right point of view. You win. I'm done fighting. That's me at the moment. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of people listening to my opinion, not giving a shit. Fine. People telling me that I have always been the asshole in the Star Wars universe. I'm unwanted. My opinions are unwanted. Fine. You win. Yeah, less than 15 days until the film comes out, and for me, I guess what really has made this come out, this kind of lamentation, kind of thought process going through my head, I think is honestly that when the film comes out, that makes it the death of my version of Star Wars official, and I will be a fan to a dead fandom. Because everyone's going to shift away from Legends, everyone's going to shift away from the way Star Wars used to be, and they're going to be exclusively about everything that's in the new films, the new books around the films, new comics, and the extended universe is going to start branching out like it did in the late 80s, early 90s, and the mid 90s, and whatever to the 2000s, where comics and books are going to start building from pre-new film to post-new film, and then or prequels, pre-originals, post-new film, and post-new trilogy, and we're going to get new characters, new situations, blah, 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 blah. We're going to get a new Jedi Order Foundation story, a new Sith Order Foundation story, excuse me, a new weird events that happen after all these films, and all this stuff is going to happen that's going to completely rewrite the face of Star Wars. And you know what? It's good that Star Wars will be around for another couple of decades. That's the one good thing I find about all this, is that Star Wars will not die out like, honestly, Star Trek did when it was in lieu for a while before JJ made those films recently, and he's going to make the third one, I guess. Where Star Trek, I mean, honestly, Star Trek wasn't dead, but I mean, it was kind of like, oh yeah, Star Trek, they haven't made anything for that in a while, or anything good. Well, maybe that's not the best example. It's hard for me to find one that's actually like fitting. But it's like Star Wars won't become kind of an obscure big thing that happened once. Even if it's still around, it's going to stay a big thing that's happening now. And you know what? That's a good thing. I'm glad people will always have Star Wars on the brain. But for me, it's going to be, I'm stuck in this Star Wars while they're all moving into that Star Wars, and if I ever say anything, I'm just going to be told to shut the fuck up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to shut up. I'm going to shut up and learn my place. It's always been at the bottom of this fucking pyramid. I might as well just leave the pyramid, so to speak. And that's, this isn't some sort of weird goodbye YouTube video, if that's what you think it is. I'm just saying what my mental state is on fighting the changes happening here. I don't want to fight it anymore. But that doesn't mean I'm going to suddenly just convert and start loving the new shit and starting to go watch the film. Fuck that. Again, why am I going to appease people who have always appealed to people who don't give a shit about me or my opinion, who've always talked down to me and made me feel unwanted about the same fucking universe that we both enjoy? They just happen to not like a certain few things I'd like, and a lot of the OT fanboys do not like the extended universe these days. I don't know where that came from, because usually the OT fans would say, oh, the EU is better than the prequels at least, and now suddenly, every fucking where I go, OT fanboys act like the extended universe is the bane of Star Wars. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? But if the OT fanboys say it, then fine, it must be true. It must be that the extended universe was always just a cancer on the face of Star Wars. I'm wrong for liking it. I'm wrong for not wanting to change it. Or at least not let it die off. I can't find it within me to be excited anymore. Star Wars honestly just feels like a chore now these days. And that's not good, Whenever something that you think is a hobby or something that you think you like becomes a chore, or it just becomes depressing to have to deal with, like a bad relationship. I mean, at least that's what I've been told. When you just feel like, oh God, I have to deal with this right now. And that's every time a Star Wars commercial comes on. It comes on at the most inopportune times. After a bad test day or a bad day at school, I come home and what do you know? A Star Wars commercial just flashes itself in front of me on the TV screen. It's like, oh, fuck you too, universe. You want to throw this at me at the end of the day? Fuck you. No, that's just me. So yeah, I'm definitely in the acceptance phase, people. Of, whatever happens, happens, I guess. I can't change it. You can't change it. We could change it together. Everybody. But it's never going to happen. This film is never going to be decried as bad or lame or anything because it's already gotten the free pass, the check, the good to go. Even if it is a trite piece of garbage, it will not get that rating because people will just want to see more Star Wars films come out. Same thing with people who supposedly didn't like the prequels. Well, why the fuck are you still going to see the films you don't like them? Well, I want to see new films. Well, there's your problem. You break the bank by not spending money on shit. That's capitalism. But, again, acceptance phase. You want JJ Abrams? Fine. You want this new film? Fine. You want all this stuff? Fine. You must be right. I have always been wrong. And I'm just accepting that at this point. And this is not me making fun of that. This is me accepting it. This is me coming out and accepting that I have always been the asshole in the situation. I have always been the one who has been wrong. I am wrong about everything with Star Wars. And no, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. This is me literally saying I've always been wrong, I guess. Because I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to fight this position anymore. And even if I in the future make, comments towards the new films and the new canon, it's probably just, a little spiteful jab. That's because that's just the way I am. But if you're going to ask me to defend my position on anything with the old canon, which I will still talk about, I'm still going to make videos about stuff. Don't worry. I'll probably feel better maybe in a couple days, better enough to make some new recordings. Because despite all this shit, I'm still a general fan of Star Wars. In general. It's hard coming to a point where you're just so done fighting other people that you're just willing to accept that you must have always been the one who's wrong. I don't like it. But I'm tired of defending my position. I don't feel like I should anymore. Life's too short for me to worry about this anymore. So yeah. 53 minutes in and a little depression to round it all off. I'll have I think me and Bane will get together over the weekend, or maybe next weekend before the new film comes out, and maybe we'll do some sort of weird special commemorating the beginning of the true beginning of the new canon, whatever. And giving a salute to the actual death of the old canon, I guess. Something weird like that. Maybe a mock funeral. No. We'll make something interesting. I guess I'll upload. I'm working on a Sith Lord Ramblings right now. I'm not going to tell you what Sith it is. And I can almost guarantee you it's not the one you're thinking of, whoever you are. Bad attempt at hiding who it is. So yeah. I know you all don't care anymore at this point about my feelings on the movie. That's fine. I don't care about my feelings on the movie at this point anymore either. But hey, if you feel like you want to leave a comment, you want to say something about how you feel about the new films, are you excited? I'm sure you are. Go ahead and tell me. Tell me if you're excited. Tell me what you're excited to see. Yeah, tell me what you want to see in the new film. Tell me what your expectations are. Because I want to hear what your guys' expectations are before the film comes out. That will be interesting. Leave that in the comments. Tell me what you think. what you hope happens, what you don't hope happens. And yeah, I will make a new recording soon, and you'll see that up soon enough. Peace.